Howdy again, it's Mr. Pete, your YouTube shop teacher, and this is episode number 58B, the answers to my What Is It Mystery Tool series. Hopefully you watched part A, the question, and if you have not, go back and read through some of the comments. They're really good, a few funny ones in there, and some correct ones, many incorrect ones. So let's get started here. Most people had this one correct, and I expected that. Matter of fact, it was a giveaway. These are saw sets, this being a Miller's Falls cast, nicely made, and I said they're totally obsolete, and someone said no, they still sell them, but I can't imagine that they would sell many. You see these in every junk box, at every auction, at every garage sale, and nobody wants them. I mean, these aren't worth a dime each, really. But the purpose, of course, is to set the teeth on a saw. If you don't have set, your blade is really a jammer when it goes into the wood. It's just hard to use and pretty well useless. But not too many people. This was my dad's, Norman Peterson. One of the very few tools that I have, because he worked as a union carpenter during the summer. But anyway, very few of these good saws are sold anymore. People paint on they paint a picture on them and hang them on the wall. But this is the kind that you see now, throwaways. This is an Irwin. They have hardened teeth. Someone told me in the comments that if you attempt to set those hardened teeth, that they will break off. And believe it or not, I never have used one of these, nor do I ever intend to use one. So let's move on. Here's item 2, and I was absolutely shocked that 2 people, as of today, knew what this was. And most people have no clue. I did not know myself until the man that gave it to me told me, and it is a KD tool number 170. And you know it's an automotive tool. They use this handle on many items, so that's very recognizable. But as far as what this is, Don gave this to me when I was in Florida, and he didn't know what it was until he called the company, and they couldn't give him an answer. And I think then he called back and they did some research, and finally KD told him what it was, but they didn't know at first because it was so long since they made them. It's absolutely obsolete because they haven't made a carburetor in 25 years or more. But this is a vise to hold carburetors while you rebuild them or work on them. And these bolts here, I assume, go into the bottom holes of a carburetor. I think a 2-barrel or a 1-barrel would fit just fine. I don't know about a 4-barrel because those usually take 4 bolts and are quite heavy. And this can be adjusted, spread apart, tilted, so that it will align up with the different brands. It's kind of intricate and must have been fairly expensive. So this extension here is held in the bench vise, and then you can clamp, and I maybe use nuts with this, I think, probably to hold it on. You don't want to drop that carburetor. And it can be turned, loosened here, and turned into different positions to clean it and rebuild that carburetor. And somebody said they were in an automotive school and they had many of these so that the whole class could rebuild carburetors. But, you know, fuel injection is what it's all about now. So that was an interesting item. And I never saw one in the high school where I worked, but there are many other different brands. And I did a research on the internet. I could not locate any pictures or any mention of this, but in that research I found that there were many other types of devices to hold carburetors made by other companies. I think they call them a carburetor vise. Surprisingly enough, quite a few people knew what this tool is or was, and it's a bell system, meaning the telephone bell. Illinois Bell is what it was here, and it was made by the company below. But this is, the correct name for it is a lashing wire clamp. So it is used when they wrap the lashing wire around the cables. And I'm going to show you a picture, and then I'm also going to show you the letter that I got from Bruce, who gave this to me, and thank you again, Bruce. And he describes how he used this. He was a lineman for a couple of years, and I suppose there was a lanyard on this so it wouldn't get dropped on someone below him. And it can be tightened, and there's a little round groove. Let me show you a very interesting picture. This is a Norman Rockwell painting. Perhaps it was on a calendar or the cover of Post magazine, I'm not sure. But in this picture he is using that tool. And there's a close-up of it being held in his hand. See that? And I think I've seen them do this from a distance, but I think this wraps that lashing wire around there. I'm not totally sure how that is all done. And I don't know if it's a thing of the past or not. Maybe they still do it. Let me show you that letter. You can pause your video to read this if you need to, and this is from Bruce. As I have often said, the average age of my viewers is 98, but I was surprised that just at the last minute when I presented the other video, I said, does anybody remember this? And I probably had more comments on Woolworth's 5 and dime stores than I did on all of the tools put together. And of course, I well remember Woolworth's in downtown LaSalle with the soda counter, and they sold peanuts in there and cashews, and it just smelled good when you went in. But I never had any money to buy a sandwich or even a Coke back then, so I would walk by that soda fountain counter just wishing that I was able to buy something. But, you know, we never really had any money when I was a kid. But thank you for all your comments, your interesting information that you gave me in the comments. This is Mr. Pete saying so long for now. I'll see you next time.